You know, some people trust you, but they trust you to be late all the time. Some people trust you, but they trust you to not always do what you say you're gonna do. Some people trust you, but like, oh, he said he's 15 minutes late. Oh, he's really 30. They trust you to not hold your word. They trust you to not be true. And I'm telling you right there, if you're building a business, people need to trust you to be able to stand on what you say.
Are you ready? We're gonna run the play. Let's
Do you
go.
know what it's like to come from nothing at all, but every day you just wanting it all? Do you know what it's like? Every day facing your fear, but believing that your blessing is near. Do you know what it's like? Growing up broken than most, but still being devoted the most. Do you know what it's like? Yeah, that's what the journey's about. Yeah, let me show you how.
What's going on, everybody? This is Justin Owens. I'm your host. This is the Run the Play Show, where I help break down the top plays of success from top leaders, entrepreneurs, and personalities by sharing gems from their personal playbook. And today, we're in my playbook because we're talking about how to lead and manage teams effectively in a remote or virtual setting, because it requires a different approach than just a traditional office setting. Like, you know, right now, since COVID, the world is changing. Now, in my opinion, this is like it's a prediction. I think we got to be careful, but I do believe that cuts are coming in the economy, and I do believe that, listen, as people in the workplace, the ones that are virtual probably have a higher chance to get cut right now. This is just the thought, because companies are trying to figure out how to cut costs. And what I want you to do is be prepared in this market of like, okay, if I'm going to be virtual, how can I be more effective? I'm going to be a virtual leader. How can I be effective to show people that I can get the maximum amount of output from the people that I'm managing, from the people that I'm leading, okay? Because things have changed. Like, it's not like in the virtual world, you can't just walk by somebody's office. Like, I know people that work virtually and they just got the laptop open and they're not really doing anything, but they're still getting their job done. So how do we set up an environment where there's great morale, where people are doing well and people feel great about what they're doing, but also the results are there? So number one is you got to establish clear expectations and goals. I believe that expectations are probably one of the most important things in all of business. In fact, in all of relationships, you've got to clearly communicate your expectations for performance on the front end. Leaders, from the beginning, because sometimes we can let, the frustrations or the irritations of how people handle things, like from when they get on Zoom calls, the how they're supposed to handle Zoom calls. Like, if you want people on the camera and on time and things like that, like, you have to act like, yo, this is still a virtual office, but it's still a business. We still have to show up on time. You still have to be presentable. We still have to be able to collaborate. You still have to put in your input. You can't turn off your camera. Turn off your camera in today's world is like closing your eyes in a meeting. We don't know if you're there. It's like dozing off in the presentation when you got the CEO and the owners in place. No, you got to be locked in. So make sure everyone's aware of their responsibilities, but also the goals they have when they're working towards things they want to accomplish in the business. Number two, which I think is really important, especially in today's world, is foster open communication. You have to create an environment where people are encouraged to be open and honest, but frequent communication between team members and between team members and their leaders. This is very important. A lot of times people don't want honest feedback, but you know what this does? It helps build trust, and it makes sure that people are felt heard, and it makes sure that everybody's on the same page. We talk about it all the time. Most organizations fall apart from the inside. How do you fix this? Well, you start preparing ahead of time. Don't wait for disaster to strike to go try to build relationships. Don't wait for things to start falling apart to go start trying to connect with people. No, start connecting with people so that if there's a breakdown in relationships, you can catch it early. You know what I'm saying? Like, when you got friends and y'all don't talk to each other the same way, or you text a little bit different, you know how you catch that? Because you communicate all the time. There's friends when I can tell the way sometimes they short with you. Sometimes they don't respond as fast. Sometimes they're real dry in their response. But you know how you can pick up on the change in energy? Because there's constant communication. Well, virtually it's even more important, because I may not see how you shrugging me off. I can't see how you side eye me, but you may be doing it virtually. How many of us have done that? Talking to somebody on the phone, hey, yeah, okay. And we're rolling our eyes the whole time. Why? You can't see that virtually. So you got to make sure you're having that communication, and it's open and it's honest. And then as a leader, you got to make sure that you're receiving what's being given. Number three in this virtual world today is learning how to utilize technology to your advantage. Leveraging technology. Now, don't let it use you. You should use technology, but leverage it. Like there's some people right now, even with AI, AI is going to be the end of the world. It's going to be the end of jobs. No, you know what's going to be the end of jobs? Somebody with AI, with their skill set, combining the two. That's who's going to take your job. It's not just AI. It's going to be somebody that knows how to use it. So you got to start learning how to embrace it. Like, what is it with humans where we just naturally just always fighting again? Oh, social media. Oh, it's just going to be the end of things. And the internet is going to just tear things down. And I don't know. I mean, maybe it did kind of tear stuff down a little bit. I don't know. But it's definitely made improvements. Listen, there's some places I wouldn't get to on time without GPS. There's some things that I wouldn't have if I didn't leverage technology. There's some companies that wouldn't be around today if they didn't look at what was already being built and say, okay, how can we build on top of it? So tools like what? Tools like video conferencing, project management software, instant messaging. Those can keep everyone on track and working together, okay? Number 4, prioritize inclusiveness. Make sure that everyone on the team feels included and valued, regardless of where they're located. Like sometimes we make things very convenient for one person or very convenient for, a certain individual or a certain group of people, but you want to encourage participation. Like, like what we've done in some businesses is like, okay, listen, we're still going to do team meetups, but it's not always in Atlanta where it's convenient for Justin. Maybe it's in a place where it's inconvenient for the leader, or maybe it's inconvenient for somebody else. Like sometimes you might have to put it in a place where somebody else can get to, because now, listen, are we thinking about, do people have kids? Are their kids in school? Do they have parents or somebody that's sick that they got to take care of, that they can't get away and go to a whole nother state? So encourage participation from the team members and actively seek out their opinions and suggestions. Actively seek out. You heard that? Actively seek out. See, sometimes as leaders, we say, oh, they didn't come to me. No. Actively seek out means I go to you and I seek out feedback. I go to you and I seek out issues. I go to you and I seek out solutions to see what we can do to make sure that we are on the same page. Number 5 is building trust. Trust is, man, it's so important to build any business or any relationship, but specifically remote or virtual teams, because listen, the transparency is going to be big. Accountability is big. Collaboration is big. But guess what? What makes people start working together more and more and more is trust. Like, okay, I trust that you're going to do this. Why? I can't see you every day, so I got to trust you, right? How do you build trust, man? You start by doing what you say you're going to do. You start hiring people based on the right criteria. You're looking at the intangibles, but the intangibles always show up. The intangibles show up on people's resumes. The intangibles show up on people's actions, the things they say they're going to do. So you got to start saying, okay, am I a trustworthy person? If I say I'm going to do something like I'm getting on this call at this time, do I consistently show up, or am I consistently late? Some people trust you, but they trust you to be late all the time. Some people trust you, but they trust you to not always do what you say you're going to do. Some people trust you, but like, oh, he said he's 15 minutes late. Oh, he's really 30. They trust you to not hold your word. They trust you to not be true. And I'm telling you right there, if you're building a business, people need to trust you to be able to stand on what you say. Okay. Number 6, provide support and resources. You got to make sure your team has the resources and support they need to be able to succeed, including access to the tools and technologies they need to do their job. If you're asking your team for feedback, if you're asking your team for what they think about stuff, and they tell you what they need, you have to be in a position where you give it to them, right? Like sometimes we ask for feedback, but we don't really want feedback. We just want people to do what we want to do. That's called faking people out. That makes people not trust you. They're like, because then what starts happening, people start saying, man, don't even waste your time talking to him or her, because all they're going to do is spin it and make you do what they want you to do at the beginning. Anyway, what that starts doing is, guess what? It starts breaking down communication. It starts breaking down people opening up. It starts breaking down people telling you how they feel and what they think about stuff. Okay. Number 7, adapt to changing needs. Remote and virtual work is constantly changing. And so you got to be flexible and open to change. Evaluate your approach. See what's working. Are people still hearing you? Are people still getting what they need? And make adjustments so that people can be effective and get things done. I know some companies, they've changed it where now, hey, look, we're virtual most time, but hey, look, once a week, we got to come to the office. Twice a week, you got to come to the office. But guess what? If you're on the other side of that, you got to still be adapting, right? There's leadership that's required with this, and it's a combination of clear communication, technology, and to be supportive and inclusive by just focus on these areas that we talked about here, guys. So listen, yep, the world is changing. Yep, things are getting better. Yep, companies are trying to find ways to save money and save on costs and things of that nature. But listen, if you focus on these areas as a leader, whether it's virtual, matter of fact, even in person, these are things that can help you to have a team that is successful, productive, whether it's remote or virtual or in your face. So listen, we just gave you plays to better help your team get better, to better help your business get stronger and better in this virtual environment. Go run it. What's going on? Listen, make sure you guys go to runtheplaystore.com, get your official Run the Play gear. We talk about shirts, socks, jackets for everybody that's run the play all across the world.
Are you ready? We're gonna run the play. Let's
Do you
go.
know what it's like to come